Well, after Mom, nothing was left. Mom had been sick for almost a year. Cancer. She owned a small corner store. Bread, coffee, milk, cigarettes, sometimes homemade jam. Everyone in the neighborhood just called her Miss Nora. When she died, the whole street went quiet. Even the little bell above the door stopped ringing, like it knew its owner would never come back. It was just us three left. Me, Jack the oldest, then Lucas and Sarah. The store was in Mom's name. Bills, rent, license, everything. After the funeral, we sat in her house, not saying a word, because nobody knew what to do. Sarah stared out the window, watching the wind move the leaves. "Maybe we should just shut it down," she said. "It hurts too much." Lucas snapped instantly. "Shut it down?" After everything she worked for? "She worked for us," Sarah said softly. "Not for the cash register." I tried to step in. "Let's calm down, okay? We'll figure it out." But nobody was calm. We were angry, tired, and broken. That store was the last piece of her, and somehow it started tearing us apart. When we first went back there after the funeral, I almost cried. The smell of old coffee, bread, bleach, half-empty shelves, the same old calendar where she used to mark delivery days. On the wall, a photo of the three of us, little kids wearing aprons, smiling. Now we just stood there, silent, strangers. A week later, the word inheritance came up. Lucas wanted to keep the shop and turn it into a cafe. Sarah wanted to sell everything and leave town. And me? I just wanted peace. "If we sell," Lucas said, "everything she did was for nothing. If we don't," Sarah shot back, "the bills will kill us." "We can split it," I said. "Half stays, half gets sold." "It's not a house, Jack," Lucas yelled. "It's life itself." "It's a business, Lucas." He slammed the door and left. We stopped talking. The store stayed closed. Neighbors whispered, "Poor Nora." Her kids couldn't handle it. One day, old Mrs. Mary from across the street came over. "Kids," she said, "you should stop by there sometime." "That shop's crying," I smirked. "Shops don't cry." "You're wrong," she said. "It breathed while she was in it. Now it's suffocating." A couple of months later, bills started piling up. Taxes, rent, utilities. I paid a few, then realized I couldn't keep up. Called Lucas. No answer. Texted Sarah. She replied coldly, "Do whatever you want." I can't deal with it. So I did. I sold some of the equipment. The fridge, the espresso machine, some shelves. Felt like a traitor. But there was no other choice. Mom kept showing up in my dreams, sitting at the counter, smiling. "Everything okay, Jack?" "No, Mom." "It's not," she just waved her hand, like saying you figure it out. Then one day I heard Lucas had opened a new store. Same stuff, bread and coffee, but in another neighborhood. He called it Lucas Market. Didn't call me, didn't tell Sarah, just did it. I was furious. Tried calling. He ignored it. Sarah said, "Let him be. Maybe that's how he's coping." "Coping!" I shouted. "He stole her idea and put his name on it." Sarah sighed. "He's just trying to survive, Jack. We all are." But I couldn't forgive him. A month later, there was an article in the local paper. Lucas had given an interview saying his mother inspired him to open his own store. Our mother. Not our story. Just his. I tore up the paper. That was the last time we spoke for more than a year. Mom's house stayed empty. Sometimes I'd stop by just to make sure no one had broken in. It smelled like dust, wood, and loneliness. Her old coffee cup still sat on the table, the one that said, "World's Best Kids." Funny, right? One evening, Mrs. Mary looked at me and said, "You three destroyed everything she built." I said, "We're just not like her." She looked right at me. "No, Jack, you just forgot who you were when she loved you." To tubes. Sarah was inside holding his hand. I never went in. 2 days later, he died. The funeral was small, just me, Sarah, a couple of neighbors, and Mary. She said quietly, "You see? Time doesn't wait for you to make peace." Afterwards, we sat by Mom's house. Sarah said, "He never knew you wanted to talk to him." "Are you sure I did?" "Yes," she said. You just waited too long. Months later, Sarah left town, said she couldn't stay here anymore. I stayed. The house was empty. The store belonged to strangers. My brother was gone. My sister, gone too. Sometimes I walked past Lucas Market. It had a new owner, but the sign was still there. Lucas Market. The letters were peeling, but still readable. I'd stand there looking, thinking how Mom wouldn't recognize us now. She knew love. We didn't. Years went by. Sarah didn't call. I didn't either. Easier that way. The silence stretched, long and heavy. Sometimes I thought, what if after Mom died, we just sat down and talked? Not about money, not about the store, just about us. But we chose silence, and silence won. One day I went back to Mom's house. Everything was the same. Dust, curtains, that same cup. Then I saw something new. A small yellowed note on the windowsill, her handwriting. If the house ever feels empty, it means you forgot why I built it. Come back, not for me. For yourselves, I sat there reading it over and over until the letters blurred. Then I just cried, quietly, no sound. A few days later, Mary stopped by again. Sat next to me, brought coffee. You know, she said, I sometimes see Sarah at the church. Maybe you should write her why, I asked. It's too late. It's never too late while you're breathing, Jack. I shrugged. She left. I never wrote. The city kept moving. New people, new shops. Ours stayed closed. Peeling paint, dusty windows. Neighbors said they sometimes heard the door creak at night, like someone came in. Maybe it's just the wind, or maybe it's Mom. I think about it sometimes. We had one small store and a big love, and we managed to lose both. Now there are only walls, and that little bell over the door that still rings when you open it, even though no one's coming inside anymore. Epilogue, just silence. 10 years passed. The house was still there, roof sagging, paint flaking. Every spring, the lilacs bloomed the same way, but no one picked them. The rusty bell above the shop still chimed when the wind was strong. Mary was old now, walking with a cane. Sometimes she sat by the road watching the house. One day she wrote 2 letters, one to Jack, one to Sarah. Each said just a few lines. I don't know what made you stop talking, but I know your mom's still waiting. Not in the house, but in you. She mailed them and forgot about it. Sarah got her letter a week later. She was living in another city, working at a pharmacy. She read it and tucked it away, but the next morning bought a bus ticket. That same day, Jack drove to the old house to check the roof after a storm. They met at the gate, stood there in silence. He was gray now. She too. Sarah spoke first. I thought you wouldn't come. I thought you wouldn't either. They stood there a while, then went inside. Everything was still the same. The cup, the curtains, the dust. On the table lay Mom's old letter. Sarah touched the paper. Her handwriting, she said. Yeah, Jack answered. Still smells like coffee. They sat at the kitchen table, not looking at each other. The sun came through the window. Neither cried. When they stepped outside, Mary was waiting by the gate. At least for a minute, you were together again, she said. Jack nodded. Sarah smiled faintly. And that was it. They walked off in different directions. No hugs, no forgiveness. But the silence between them felt a little softer. People say sometimes, at night, the light flickers in the house, and the bell above the door rings by itself. Maybe it's the wind. Or maybe Mom came back, just to see that, for a brief moment, her kids were together again.